The most famous spy is James Bond. That the character also was fictional, he created an image of the ideal special agent. In life, it is known of the real spies a little, after all their work, to remain in the shadow. Nevertheless, it is necessary to tell about the best-known secret agents. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. These are the American communists accused of espionage in favor of the Soviet Union and executed for it in 1953. Rosenberg worked for the Soviet investigation since the beginning of the 1940s years. Then he enlisted the wife Ethel, her brother David Greenglass, and his wife Ruth. Rosenberg and his suite constantly transferred to Moscow data on the latest confidential technologies in armament industry of America. The complete list of the transferred information continues to remain confidential, though it is known that in December 1944 he showed detailed documentation and a sample of a ready radio detonator. This product was highly appreciated by our experts. Even later half a century, many details of work of group of Rosenberg continue to be kept in secret. After all, if officially to recognize that technical espionage existed, it is necessary anew to look at history of origin and formation of domestic radio electronics. Kim Philby, 1912–1988. Kim was born in India in a family of the British official. An origin of a family of Philby was quite ancient. Education the boy received in England, where then he honors graduated from the Cambridge School. In 1921, Philby came to Cambridge, where showed sympathy for socialist views. In 1934, Kim was enlisted by the Soviet scout Arnold Dane. In 1940, the Soviet spy becomes the employee of the British Secret Service and quickly does career there. Formally, Philby struggles with the Soviet spies. In practice, he regularly delivers to Moscow classified documents. Thanks to it, many British agents and informants were opened. In the late 50s, the high-ranking spies of Moscow in England start revealing their suspicion and on Philby falls. As a result, in 1963, Philby was transported illegally to the USSR, where the spies showed with the state awards allocated pension. Only the enthusiasm concerning all delights of socialism quickly died away. Philby was necessary to nobody and started drinking. In the USSR, the spy believing in justice, the cruel disappointment waited. Robert Hansen, who was the employee of FBI, was condemned for espionage in favor of the USSR and Russia. He started cooperating with the Soviet Union in 1979. However, and after its disorder, he continued to transfer a lot of classified information. Hansen cooperated with the Soviet and Russian investigation since 1979 before the arrest in 2001. The consequence managed to prove 13 episodes of espionage. As a result of it, arrested only in 2001 in Virginia. When it was carried to prison, he asked, "Why did you so long cut me?" Hansen was sentenced to life imprisonment. Klaus Fuchs, the German physicist, in 22 years joined the ranks of Communist Party, having been disappointed in Social Democrats. But political views compelled Fuchs to run to Great Britain. About 1941, under the leadership of Professor Borna, Fuchs works in a group of scientists, nuclear physicists. Understanding threat of the new weapon, it gave the part of researchers within the Manhattan Project to the Soviet Union, and it was made disinterestedly of political conviction. The scientist himself found the Soviet resident and transferred information. Over time, Fuchs transferred data on the bomb device. In 1942, the physicist obtains English citizenship to trust confidential materials about the course of similar development in Germany. As a result, Fuchs managed even to get the Oppenheimer's team to the heart of the project. As a result of the USSR could create atomic weapons amazingly quickly. It caused suspicion. Intelligence services began to check all involved. In 1950, Fuchs was arrested. It appeared that its information allowed the Soviet Union to develop the new weapon not in 10 years and all for 3 years, on the basis of documents from Fuchs' data in a hydrogen bomb that allowed beginning work even earlier than in USA got to the USSR. The spy was condemned for 14 years as formerly England and the USSR still were considered as allies. Fuchs was released in 1959 and until the end of life lived in GDR. Richard Zorga. It is considered that he warned Stalin about the beginning of the Great Patriotic War even a month before Hitler's attack. The second time of Richard transferred the major data in the fall of 1941. He could learn that Japanese do not intend to attack the Soviet Union soon. It allowed throwing 26 fresh divisions from the Far East just in a scorching heat of the Battle of Moscow as predetermined a victory of Red Army. On October 1941, Zorga was arrested by Japanese and sentenced to death. As he worked hard years in Japan, the Soviet Union within 20 years was not recognized by Zorga the agent. Only on November 5, 1964, Zorga was declassified and gave the rank of the hero of the Soviet Union. However, it was posthumously. Well, that's all, friends. Was mad to do us such material, therefore do not stint likes. See you soon, bye!